سوا على الهوا سوا على الهوا يأتيكم عبر أثير إذاعة
صباح الخير أمريكا.
من يوم اللي اتكون يا وطن الموج كنا سوا.
صباح الخير أعزائي المستمعين في صوت العرب من أمريكا. هذا هو عادل موزب يحييكم من وراء الميكروفون. اليوم هو 5 نوفمبر تشرين الثاني لعام 2019. سنكون معكم على مدار ساعة على صوت العرب من أمريكا على برنامج سوا بالهواء. نتكلم اليوم على الانتخابات الأمريكية. هناك الانتخابات في كل مدينة. في بعض المدن الأمريكية تجري انتخابات بلدية وتجري أيضا انتخابات لبروبوزلز كثيرة أو مقترحات عدة. فاليوم سنتحدث عن الانتخابات. سيكون هناك اتصالات أيضا من الجمهور ومن السياسيين والمرشحين وأيضا من الداعمين والغير داعمين للمقترحات التي هي في البطاقة الانتخابية. إذا لم تنتخبوا اليوم ستفوتوا الفرصة لغيركم ليختاروا ممثليكم في مجالس المدينة وأيضا في المقترحات. لا تفوتوا هذه الفرصة. المراكز اقتراع الانتخاب ستكون مفتوحة من الساعة 7 صباحا حتى الساعة 8 مساء هذا اليوم. فلا تفوتوا الفرصة واذهبوا للانتخاب واذهبوا وأنتم موقنون بما تصوتون. فاليوم سنشرح Dearborn School Bond. We will get any questions that you still have, any burning questions that you still have about the school bond. I will be able to answer your questions to the best of my ability, giving you factual information. I will also be taking calls from candidates who are running for office or re-election in some cities in Southeast Michigan. We will have callers from the city of Hamtramck. We will have also candidates from the city of Dearborn Heights, and we will also have callers from the city of Melvindale. They also have a bond as well. So Dave Abdullah is a candidate for the city council. He's a current councilman, and he is vying for another term. So he will be with us right after this one commercial that we will be back so we can set up Facebook Live. So if you're following us on Facebook, please go to US Arab Radio so you can watch this podcast. And also if you're watching us or if you're listening to us, it's 6:90 a.m. and you can call us later at 248-557-3300. So we will take one commercial break, Mike, and we will come back.
إلي ساعة عم بستناك مشان نروح نتغدى بالشام.
بالشام؟
إيه بالشام ومو بالشام.
شلون صارت هي؟
بدل ما نروح نتغدى بالشام
إيه
جابوا لنا الأكلات الشامية الطيبة لعنا لهم.
وشلون بقى؟
هذا مطعم دماس عم يعمل كل الأكلات الشامية الطيبة هو.
طيبة؟
طيبة كتير.
شرفوا نتغدى سوا بمطعم دماس.
الأكل الشامي الأصيل فقط بدماس كوزين. زوروهم على 28841 أورشارد ليك بفارمينغتون هيلز. ولطلباتكم اتصلوا على 248-987-4609. That's 248-987-4609. دماس كوزين and catering. جبنا لكم الشام لعندكم.
العطاء قصة رائعة، بدايتها إنسان يهتم ونهايتها إنسان يحتاج. مؤسسة الحياة للإغاثة والتنمية ومنذ أكثر من 25 عاما تحمل عطائك إلى من يستحقه ويحتاجه بغض النظر عن الجنس أو العرق أو الدين. فأينما تكون الحاجة تجد الحياة تقدم المساعدة الطبية والملاجئ وبناء المدارس والأوار الارتوازية وبرامج كفالة عوائل اللاجئين والأيتام وغيرها حسب الحاجة. للمساعدة في استمرار هذا الجهد الكبير امنح تبرعك المعفى من الضرائب اليوم إلى منظمة الحياة للإغاثة والتنمية عبر الموقع www.lifeusa.org أو الاتصال على الرقم المجاني 1-800-827-3543.
All right, welcome back to US Arab Radio listeners. Today we're covering Election Day. I'm so excited. This is for people, it's like Eid, it's Christmas. For me, it's Election Day. I'm not stressed at all because I'm not on the ballot. So, Mike, what do you think? Okay, we have Dave Abdullah, city councilman at the city of Dearborn Heights. Dave, good morning.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Habibi?
Wa alaikum assalam. Welcome to the show. How are you doing this morning? Are you excited for election day?
Absolutely excited for election day. I'm doing my rounds, going from one precinct to the other, trying to rally up the troops.
Obviously. Can you please tell us, Dave, remind the listeners who are listening perhaps to you for the first time, and if you can get the audio mic so they can hear on the Facebook Live. Thank you. Dave, tell us, why are you vying for another term?
Well, I'm vying for another term because we are all blessed to live in this great country. And I just felt I've been involved with politics for probably about 20 years, but specifically myself running for elections. This is my second term. I just feel that all of us have to give back to this great country that we all live in. And it just feels absolutely great to give back to not only the United States, but our city and our flag. Absolutely.
In your 4 years, people might have asked, what have you done so you can deserve another chance or their vote so you can be re-elected?
Sure, that's an excellent question, and a lot of it on the city council. If you know anything about me, you know I'm not the type that is. I'm very confident, but I don't like any type of ego. So I'm not going to take credit for everything because it just doesn't work that way on the city council. There are, as you are aware, 7 council members. So anything that is done with all of us as a body. But some of the things that have been accomplished, including myself with it, has been the purchase of the Warren Valley Golf Course from Wayne County, which I think has been a great purchase at 1.8 million for 254 acres. That's going to be a great addition to our city and ownership to our city. We've also been involved with the revitalization of Van Born corridor. That's a very important corridor. It's the entryway into the city of Dearborn Heights, and that's been a good thing. Another one that's been, I know, somewhat controversial, but I'm very confident with my vote, where we turned down the marijuana coming into our city, whether medical or recreational. We decided not to allow that to be opened up in our city. We've lowered the water rates, and we continue to vote and will continue to vote, at least I can speak for myself, in the best interest of the city, in the best interest of the residents that I serve.
Absolutely, Dave. Thank you so much for calling in. Best of luck to you today. I will be seeing you later on today, and I'm sure that people are looking forward to vote today. So any last message to tell the voters?
Yeah, you know what? The most important thing, for me, I'd be honored if people would vote for me, and that'd be great. But way more important than that, way bigger than that is don't wash away your right to vote. It's a right that we all have, and don't walk away from that and let somebody else vote on your behalf and decide on your behalf. So if you vote for me, that's a great honor. Thank you. I appreciate it. But even if you don't vote for me, go out and vote. This is too important. It's a right that a lot of our predecessors have fought for, and we are all continuing to fight for. Don't lose that right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dave, and good luck today.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
He is vying for another term. So if you live in the city of Dearborn Heights, look up for Dave on your ballot. And if you believe that he deserves your vote, please vote for him. We also have another candidate who is vying also for another seat on the city of Dearborn Heights, Councilwoman Lisa Hicks Clayton. She is vying for, I believe, a third term. So good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Hey, good morning, everyone.
Excited.
Yes, excited. Glorious day. It's a beautiful day for an election. I love election day. This is the day we're all going to get out. We're going to vote. Your vote is your voice. And as you know, I amplify your voice on issues that are important to our residents and our community. So it's great to join you. Thank you for having me this morning.
Absolutely. You're most welcome, Lisa. I said to the listeners that you're vying for a third term. Was I correct?
You are correct.
Okay.
So I am completing my 8th year, looking for a third term so I can continue serving our residents. And as you know, every day that I get up is a blessing, is a day to serve. And I ask, how can I serve my community today? What can I do to make things better for others, including their quality of life? And I deliver food to people. I shovel snow for people. I go beyond what the definition of a city council member is. I love serving, and I believe that is really a purpose and a calling to do.
Thank you, Lisa. Can you tell us why voters should vote for you or renew their confidence in you as a councilwoman?
I think the reason I asked for their vote, and a vote is a vote of confidence, I'm glad you used that word. I'm going to ask for that support, for that renewal, for that commitment, because I'm committed to you and your family. And I have shown that through the last 8 years. I have stood strong on issues, controversial issues, by the way, when others did not. I was sometimes that lone vote, and not only a vote, but I advocated, I mobilized, I organized to get the right thing done for our community, whether that meant retaining and funding our emergency 911 emergency services, because they wanted to outsource that. And I will tell you, I stood strong on that issue and took a lot of hits for it, but to do it for the community, because that was a bad fit at the time. Warren Valley Golf Course, making sure that was not developed because that is a floodplain. The liability of that being developed is the potential for that liability was huge to our constituents, to our taxpayers. I have continued to advocate on your behalf for solutions, funding solutions from the federal and state level for the Ecorse Creek, with the flooding that's gone on for over 50 years and grows more frequent and intense with every year that passes with these 100-year storms. I've been advocating with the Army Corps of Engineers, our federal level elected officials, our state officials. I work with all of them for these solutions that work for our community. And guess what? We have the funding timeline now. That is because of the hard work and diligence, sticking with it over the last, let's see, when did this start for me? 5 years, by the way. And I haven't stopped. And I don't stop. That's one thing I commit to, is that I'm tenacious. I will be on something. I work every day on that issue, again, because it's important to people. People need that champion. They need that voice, yes. And that's what I do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisa, for calling in. Good luck today. I'm expecting good news at 9 p.m. today. I hopefully to see you at the polls. I'll be actually at River Oaks from 6 to 8. Advocating also for the Dearborn School Bond, which is parts of your city in Dearborn Heights at the Ann Arbor Trails area by River Oaks. So thank you so much. Best wishes to you, Lisa. You, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, are and Dave as well, are best who represent the residents in Dearborn Heights. You're always responsive to your residents. You always vocalize their concerns, and you reflect their opinions, and you understand their struggles. So thank you so much for your service as an elected official as well. I understand the commitment and the hard work that goes into this, and it's unfortunately a thankless job. People always accuse you and do a lot of kind of things, but you take it because you feel good. You have a self-fulfillment. You and Dave have my support. And thank you so much for serving. We are lucky to have people like you.
Thank you so much. And if you would do an ask, please, for our residents, our voters, to please make sure they go vote today. Turnout is going to be low. We really need to hear your voice. It's so important. And to call your friends and call your neighbors and get to the polls, because it's worth it.
And Lisa, there's a saying that says democracy dies behind closed doors or in dark rooms. That's, I think, the Washington Post motto. So the more of people vote, the merrier. We should vote in every election. People saying, oh, you should only put things in presidential elections. Why are you putting in them right now? Or city council elections are an off-year election, right? They're not during the election year, right? So we should be telling people that you should vote and exercise your right. This is your given right by the U.S. Constitution to choose your representatives in government, and you should vote in every election, whether it's municipal, school board, presidential, Congress, whatever it is, or a bond. So please go out and vote. Any way that you make it, any way that you vote is appreciated. It's very important that when we vote, as we make our voice heard, right, Lisa?
That is correct. And I will tell people, even though it's not as glamorous as headline catching, as a presidential election. Your local elections are so important because those folks at the local level are making decisions that impact your life every single day. Whether, your trash is getting picked up, your police and fire are funded, which I've always strongly supported public safety. Those things that we take for granted, you can't take for granted. You need people in there who, one, work for you and understand that. Two, they lead with compassion. And three, they make sure they research all of the information to make a sound decision on your behalf in your best interest. So keep that in mind when you vote. Always vote. Make sure you vote. You got to do that. Amplify that voice. People have died for that right to vote.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Lisa,
don't take it for granted.
Lisa, thank you so much. Good luck today and good luck in your rounds. And we'll see you at 9.
Thank you.
Take care.
Yes, thank you so much.
Listeners, I will be quickly saying something in Arabic. اليوم التصويت مهم جدا جدا جدا. سماع صوتكم في الولايات المتحدة هنا تصنع القرارات. عندما تختاروا ممثليكم، عندما تقولوا نعم أم لا للمقترحات، هنا توصلوا أصواتكم عبر هذا الصندوق. هذه هي الديمقراطية الحقيقية، هذا هو العرس الديمقراطي الحقيقي. معنا اتصال من الأخ رأفت، أعتقد من نيويورك، زميلي رأفت في US Arab Radio. صباح الخير.
صباح النور عادل، أهلا وسهلا بك. تحية طيبة للمستمعين الكرام. صراحة يعني كما قلت هذا يوم عظيم جدا في أمريكا، الانتخاب.
نعم.
يعني حفظه لنا الدستور الأمريكي، وأكيد هو واجب لكل مواطن أمريكي، وواجب على كل أمريكي من أصل عربي أن يقوم بالانتخاب عادل.
بالتأكيد بالتأكيد. هذا عندما تذهب إلى الانتخاب هنا تمكن من صوتك، هنا تقول أنا صوتي كذا وأنا أريد هذا الممثل أو أريد هذا المقترح، وتقول بصوت عال أنا موجود.
نعم، صراحة يسعدني أن يكون معنا على الخط الثاني صديقي عادل الأستاذ عبد السلام مبارك، هو رئيس جمعية التجار اليمنيين الأمريكيين.
أستاذ عبد السلام مبارز، أهلا وسهلا.
نعم هو معنا.
صباح الخير، صباح الخير لكل
الأستاذ عبد السلام، حياك الله.
الله يحييك ويسلمك، وشكرا لكم للاستضافة هذه في اليوم المهم.
نعم،
انتخابات في نيويورك أعتقد، أليس كذلك رأفت؟ أليس كذلك عبد السلام؟
في كل الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية.
نعم. هل هناك انتخابات للمجالس البلدية وللجان مثلا؟
نعم.
المجلس التربوي؟
نعم، وهذا أهم شيء الذي أريد أنقله لكل جالية اليمنية والعربية في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، إن الانتخابات مهمة، ليس الانتخابات الرئاسية فقط أو مجلس الشيوخ والكونغرس، ولكن الانتخابات أو التصويت للمرشحين في المجالس البلدية والمجالس المحلية في المدن والولايات التي متواجدين فيها هي مهمة، لأنه هي الصلة المباشرة بنا كجالية مع هؤلاء الناس، هؤلاء الذي بيمثلونا، هؤلاء الذي بيسمعونا بطريقة مباشرة، هؤلاء الذي بيعملوا القوانين التي قد يمكن تفيدنا في المدن التي متواجدين. ولذا مهم من كل من سجل نفسه للتصويت وهذا في السن القانوني يتفق عليه أن يخرج اليوم ويصوت ويخرج يعني مراكز الاقتراع على أساس يوري نفسه أنا سوف أصوت، يتعرف على المسؤولين على أساس يتعرفوا على جاليتنا أن هي مشاركة في الانتخابات، والانتخابات المحلية مهمة. طبعا احنا عندنا في نيويورك في عندنا 3 أشياء الذي هذا، عندنا الكنترولر وعندنا السيتي كونسل وعندنا في منطقة في بروكلين يعني المدعى المحلي، هذا الذي بيكون في منطقة نيويورك. وعلى جاليتنا والذي سجلوا والذي قد شاركوا وأثبتوا وجودهم في الانتخابات السابقة أن يشاركوا، وأرجو من كل واحد الذي عنده القدرة أنه عندما يخلص يشارك يعمل صورة أنه أنا صوت، على أساس ننقلها للآخرين، نشجعهم للخروج مع أبنائهم مع أمهاتهم مع كل إنسان الذي يستطيع أن يصوت عليه أن يخرج ويصوت اليوم. أرجو من الجميع.
شكرا.
شيء مهم.
شكرا جزيلا أخي عبد السلام مبارز من ولاية نيويورك، وأيضا الأخي رأفت عبيد. شكرا جزيلا لكم الأخوة في نيويورك، الأخوة في ميشيغان. هذا هو العرس الديمقراطي، هذا هو اليوم الذي يجب أن نخرج فيه ونكون رقما صعبا للجميع. فنتمنى من الجميع الذهاب والاقتراع. إذا كنت في ولاية ميشيغان يحق لك حتى لو لم تسجل، يتيح لك القانون الآن أن تسجل بنفس اليوم، ولكن عليك الذهاب إلى ستيري هول. أما إذا كنت مسجلا من قبل فعليك الذهاب إلى مركز الاقتراع الذي هو ربما يكون الكنيسة أو المدينة أو المدرسة الابتدائية القريبة لديك. فاذهبوا للتصويت أخواني. شكرا جزيلا أخي رأفت، شكرا جزيلا عبد السلام. أخي عبد السلام،
شكرا لكم
على أساس تحت الفرصة.
الله يسلمك. Thank you so much. Thank you. وأنتم كذلك. أخواني أعزائي، إخواتي، الانتخابات هذه مهمة جدا. في انتخابات 2019 2020 انتخابات محلية، انتخابات رئاسية، على الجميع أن يذهب للتصويت. اليوم في مدينة ديربون هناك مقترح واحد على الورقة الانتخابية، هو هل تدعم مدارس ديربون بقرض 240 مليون دولار لكي يتم الإصلاحات الكبيرة للمدارس. عليك التصويت فقط بنعم أم لا. هذا هو السؤال الوحيد في مدينة ديربون. في مدينة ديربون هايتس هناك أعضاء للمجلس البلدي، وأيضا هناك المقترح لمدارس ديربون. في مدينة ملفنديل هناك مقترح لشراء جامعة بيكر، المبنى لجامعة بيكر كوليدج، وأيضا هناك فلوس أخرى عشان يعملوا التصليحات زي ما يحصل في ديربون. في مدينة همترامك هنالك المجالس البلدية أيضا، هناك 3 مقاعد شاغرة. والأخ سعد المسمري أتمنى منه إذا كان يستمع إلينا أن يتصل في البرنامج. حاولت الاتصال به قبل البرنامج ولكنه لم يجيب، فأحب أن الأخ سعد يتصل بالبرنامج وعنده رقم الاستوديو. أيضا أرحب بالجميع للاتصال وسؤالي عن الديربون سكول باند. My number, the studio here is 248-557-3300. Welcoming all of your questions about the Dearborn School Board. If you still have any last questions, we're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk with Dr. Glenn Miliko, the superintendent of Dearborn Schools.
هل تبحث عن منتجات حلال لك ولعائلتك؟ ميدمار منتجات غذائية صحية عالية الجودة وذات مذاق خاص. ميدمار لديها تشكيلة واسعة من المنتجات الغذائية الحلال. اجعل دائما ميدمار اختيارك المفضل للأطعمة الحلال. تجدونها في الأسواق أو على الموقع الإلكتروني للوكيل الحصري www.ziyad.com. ميدمار خير اختيار. مراكز IVF ميشيغان للخصوبة وأطفال الأنابيب الرواد في مجال الطب التناسلي تعلن عن استقبال مراجعيها في بلومفيلد هيلز ومراكزها المنتشرة في ميشيغان وأوهايو، حيث يتواجد أمهر الأخصائيين لتقديم الاستشارات في جميع مجالات التلقيح الصناعي. يعتبر الدكتور نيكولاس شما أحد أهم الأخصائيين في الغدد الصماء التناسلية في ولايتي ميشيغان وأوهايو، حيث أجرى أكثر من 10,000 عملية طفل أنبوب وساعد الآلاف من الأزواج على تحقيق حلم الأبوة. يحمل الدكتور شما شهادة البورد الأمريكي في كل من أمراض النساء والتوليد، أمراض الغدد الصماء التناسلية والعقم، رعاية طبية ممتازة وتفهم عميق للأثر العاطفي والنفسي لحالة العقم. للاستفسار اتصلوا على 248-952-9600 248-952-9600. مرحبا سعيد.
اهلا علا.
ليش هالمقابلة الفاترة هاي؟ بيقول المثل لاقيني ولا تغديني.
يمه زعلتي، شنو رايك اذا لقيتك وايضا غديتك باحسن مطاعم ميشيغان، مطعم عشتار؟
والله فكرة، افضل الاطباق والمقبلات العربية والعراقية واحلى ملقا.
ولا تنسين اللحوم الطازجة مباشرة من ملحمة عشتار لزباين عشتار. وملحمة عشتار توفر اختيارات متنوعة من كافة انواع اللحوم وباسعار متميزة وجودة ايضا مميزة. ملحمة عشتار تقع على 36865 راين رود في مدينة ستيرلينغ هايت.
واكيد احلى لمة واطيب لقمة في مطعم عشتار اللي عنوانه 3625 15 مايل رود في مدينة ستيرلينغ هايت. هاتف 586-698-2585 586-698-2585.
يلا علا
يلا عشتار، للجودة وكرم الضيافة عنوان.
مطعم عشتار.
صباح الخير مرة أخرى أعزائي المستمعين، عودة إليكم. هذا هو عادل معزب يحييكم في هذا اليوم الخامس من نوفمبر تشرين الثانية لعام 2019، يوم العرس الديمقراطي الأمريكي، يوم الانتخابات الذي لم يصوت عليه الانتخاب اليوم. رجاء رجاء رجاء، لا يمكنك أن تصوت بعد الساعة 8، سيفوتك الوقت. فاذهب وخذ وقتك اليوم لتذهب مع عائلتك مع أصدقائك للتصويت والإدلاء بصوتك. معنا الليسنر الوفي، المستمع العزيز دائما متابعنا، الأخ نجيب. حابة أتفضل أستاذ نجيب.
شكرا عزيزي أستاذ عادل معزب، صباح الخير.
نور، تفضل
عزيزي أستاذ عادل. happy election day. الأمريكان all of us include all the Middle Eastern. وتسمح لي أستاذ عادل أنه أقول لك أنه الانتخابات أحلى هدية وأثمن هدية وجوهرة قدمها لنا هذا البلد العظيم أمريكا، حرية الانتخابات الديمقراطية. وتعرف أخ عادل معزب، مثل ما تفضلت قبل قليل، البعض يظن أن الانتخابات الرئاسية هي فقط المهمة، لكن الانتخابات المحلية هي الأهم، لأنها حجر الزاوية. وكما يقول الشاعر عندنا: بداية الغيث قطرة. فإذا لم نحن نكمل واجباتنا تجاه our community من مجالس البلدية والمحلية لا نستطيع الوصول. ونحن أستاذ عادل كجالية عربية شرق أوسطية، كيف نثبت وجودنا في هذا البلد؟ عن طريق الانتخابات، لأنه الجالية التي ليس لها أصوات وناخبين هي جالية تضيع في هذا المجتمع. فلذلك أحث كل أخ وكل أخت من الجاليات العربية والكلدانية الذهاب إلى الانتخابات، وبعض الوقت لا يكلفك.
هل هناك elections نعم. في مدينتك أنت في ستيرلينغ هايتس أليس؟
نعم، مدينة وورن ومدينة ماديسون هايت
عندهم elections.
نعم موجودين. نعم. وأنا حال انتهائي منك أذهب وأساهم، لأنه هذا واجب كل مواطن.
شكرا جزيلا.
نطالب بحقوقنا أستاذ عادل، كيف نطالب بحقوقنا إذا لم نساهم في الانتخابات؟
شكرا جزيلا
صوت أستاذ عادل، كل صوت محسوب، every
vote counts. Absolutely. Thank you so much Ustad Jerry. Thank you so much for calling in.
شكرا عزيزي عادل معزب على برنامجك، وللمخرج مايك شبكة، وتهانينا لكل الكانديديت الذين يرشحون أنفسهم. God bless you, Adel,
and God bless
America.
Thank you so much. We have also. Thank you so much, Jerry. We have another call from Hussein. Hussein, you're on the line. Welcome. صباح الخير.
صباح الخير عادل، شو أخبارك؟
صباح نور. حسين هاشم، أهلا وسهلا.
حبيبي سمعتك، شفتك طالع لايف على الفيسبوك، عم لك لمي كول عادل.
حبيبي thank you so much.
لك وللمستمعين تبعك أكيد. التيرن اوت بديربون يا عادل از فيري لو، نتمنى من العالم يطلعوا ويصوتوا ويشاركوا بالانتخابات. انتخابات كثير مهمه، ان كانوا بديربون ولا ان كانوا باي منطقه بامريكا، لازم نشارك بالعمليه الانتخابيه ونكون من صناع القرار، مش على السايد لاينز. نحن لازم نكون قسم من هذا القرار، لانه كل الشغلات اللي بتصير ان كانوا على المحليه ولا على صعيد امريكا كله بياثر علينا نحن كعرب وكاشخاص عايشين بهيدا البلد اللي هو بلدنا اكيد. فانا بدي بطلب من الجميع انه يطلعوا ويصوتوا، خصوصا اللي عايشين بمدينه ديربون، يطلعوا ويصوتوا ويدعموا مدارس ديربون العامه، ويصوتوا يس على البريكس باند اللي هي لدعم مدارس ديربون العامه. ومثل ما انت قلت انه البولز اوريدي فتحوا على الساعه 7، وكمان انه بيسكروا على الساعه 8. ونقطه مهمه كثير العالم لازم تعرفها، انه حتى لو انت منك مسجل لحتى تصوت، خصوصا بميشيغان، فيك تروح على السيتي كليرك اوفيس وتسجل وتصوت. كثير مهم العالم يقولوا الشغله بيروحوا يصوتوا اكيد بنفس النهار،
لانهم لغوا القانون اللي كان بيقول لازم تسجل 30 يوم قبل الانتخابات. يعني يمكنك اذا لم تنتخب من قبل يمكنك ان الذهاب الى السيتي كليرك في السيتي هول وتنتخب تلقائيا او راسا على طول. فشكرا جزيلا حسين لهذه المعلومه. معنا الدكتور مليكو، شكرا جزيلا للمداخله الطيبه حسين. We have Dr. Maleko also on the line, the superintendent of Dearborn Schools, who actually reports to the Board of Education, which I am part of. So, Dr. Maleko, welcome to USN Radio. And please lower the audio on your car so we don't hear the echo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to switch off of the Bluetooth. One
Yep.
second here.
Sure. So, Dr. Maleko, today is election day. You've been talking about this bond now since it was introduced. It's been a process that's been in the works for 2 years. There was an infrastructure committee that provided these recommendations to go out for a bond renewal because some bonds are expiring, and we would like to still capture the same amount of money coming into our schools. Why? Now, some people say you could get this money from elsewhere. Why doesn't the state cover it? That's my the first question, or frequently asked question. Why are you only relying on the taxpayers?
Well, here's the problem: is Michigan ranks 50th out of 50 states in education funding.
Last.
So we're not adequately funded from the state. There was a finance collaborative study that was done by not just educators but multiple people in the community, Chamber of Commerce, business officials, that saying that we need to change the education funding system. That it goes back to 1994 Proposal A, and it's broken based on the current foundation allowance. So we just don't have the amount of money to upgrade buildings, 12 of them that are approaching 100 years old, another 12 that are between 60 and 90. You know, beautiful buildings like Fordson, Salina. I'm just in front of McDonald School right now. Beautiful old building, one of the oldest in the district.
It was built on a good structure, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yes.
And that's where, you know, with the masonry design, the old designs built very well. And in 2003, when we had the bond, I was actually an assistant principal, I believe, when the bond, it was 2002, I'm sorry, was passed. That allowed for a lot of increases in capacity, including at Fordson, where we built the cafeteria. And because of the design being so well done, they actually matched the exact brick to continue with that positive historical tradition. So that's part of it as well, is that we just don't have another funding source. Now, it is true you could borrow money from the general fund, but then you'd be reducing resources for students in the class because you'd have to take it from somewhere. I don't know exactly where that we'd have to go through our normal budget process that you're aware of as a trustee, and we'd have to decide where reductions would occur. So I mean, there is.
I would, and Glenn, for the record, that's the worst time for me on the board is when I have to lay off a teacher or a support staff, or make that decision when you bring that forward. I would never. I dread to do this. I hate when people love to come to our schools and work and give back to the community and serve our students, and we tell them, sorry, because of money, we cannot have you anymore with us. That is just dreadful, and we don't want to repeat that. And that's why we cannot use the general fund money, which we pay teachers and staff, to fund infrastructure repairs, which are costly, unfortunately, for our old buildings. Now, here's my question, Glenn. People are asking, why are we investing in old buildings? Why don't we build brand new buildings?
Well, two reasons. One, there's several reasons really, but I mentioned about the historic and the value to the community. The infrastructure task force actually voted on that. And the reason they voted not to build new buildings, they did vote to expand. I mean, again, the task force made the recommendation. The ultimate authority is the board. So when the infrastructure task force made the recommendation to me and the board at the time, then the board ultimately made the decision. But they looked at that, and the reason they didn't pursue that, and again, I was not on the task force on purpose, neither was any board members because it was recommendations, is that they recognized that in order to keep the tax rate the same, they didn't want to increase because there was discussion on increasing, decreasing, discussion on keeping it the same. And so they had a strong vote, is my understanding, to keep it at a 0 mil 4.82 0 mil increase. That was a priority. And so if you were to build new buildings, you would not be able to take care of the needs throughout the entire district. And so you would have to pick and choose, well, which building are you going to build? The third issue is they discussed property. Where are you going to get the property? I know there was some serious discussion through the committee. I think Gorey was one of the schools that was mentioned, if I recall. And it's just, you've got 1,100 students there. Where are you going to approximately? where are you going to put the students as you're building, a new, taking down the old? Whereas if you keep the current building and update it, it's more cost effective. And like you said, these buildings were built to last with this strong masonry brick design from years ago. So those the discussions did take place. This is going back well over a year ago. Ultimately the board had to decide, and then you might recall there was, even prior to that, which started as high school capacity, there's discussions on a fourth high school that was addressed by the infrastructure committee and other buildings. And so, there's about 4 or 5 reasons for it. One, keep the taxes.
Folks, Glenn, Dr. And I call you Glenn because we
Sure.
call each
Yeah,
other.
go ahead.
But, Dr. Maleko.
Oh yeah, feel free. Glenn is fine.
Dr. Maleko, a lot of people are saying, oh, who are these members on this task force committee that made the decisions for all of us on this bond? And obviously, last night I was still up until 2 a.m. and I actually watched that study session that was in October 2018. And some of the representatives from that task force actually talked about the recommendations. And what was interesting for me is that Mr. Wall, the business services director, presented the idea of a sinking fund. And he also presented the idea of the bond. And we went for the bond because it was the most cost-effective way to put for our residents. Now,
Correct.
we could have went for a sinking fund, but what were the drawbacks? Why did not we consider, because people are saying this is an amazing, why didn't you just capture the taxes and pay as you go? Why wasn't that considered by the board or the committee?
Like you said, it was discussed and considered. There's 2 reasons, my understanding, and Mr. Wall is the expert, but one is it's limited as to what you can use it for. For example, we have buses in the bond. You cannot use it for bus. I believe there's other things like certain technology and computers that cannot be used. And so those are, there's a, and I can't remember all of it. So, but I know buses for sure cannot, and there's other aspects that you cannot use a sinking fund. The second thing is you would be doing it over time. So basically, we wouldn't be able to do it in it would take longer than 6 years to finish the whole upgrades, because you'd be borrowing money as you go each year, but you wouldn't get the big. I believe the first phase of the bond right now is about 80-something million, and then the rest would be in phase 2. It would take you a lot longer.
Here is another
Here
is another question that some folks are spreading like it's gonna scare people to vote no. They're saying we're gonna be paying 3 bonds at the same time. How? And some folks think that we're still paying them at their full level, and they don't know that some of these bonds, they actually expire. So in 2022, the 2002 bond is going to actually expire and go down to 0. And this is where this new bond, which is a new mill, will actually carry over and bring that back to 4.82.
Correct. And in the way it's phased is, just several years ago, we actually refinanced the bond in a partnership with the college, and we saved the taxpayers money. This was about 3 years ago. That was just a savings because of the rate. The interest rates were very low, and we also went out and we sold the bonds on the market. We had a company obviously that did that, and it saved taxpayers money. So the way it's phased in is that when the first installment of the bond, we'd be borrowing that, and I can't remember the exact, but it's
86.
I think
86 million.
86. Thank you.
Yep.
86. So you would borrow that in phase 1.
Just 2020.
Therefore,
and hopefully the rates would still be down, so you'd pay less interest. So if the rate would be 2.5 or 3.0, that's an amazing rate for an interest. I mean, even for a house, when you buy a house at a 2% and municipal bonds are fluctuating between these percentages. But the district put an estimate, a conservative estimate of 4%. But that doesn't mean we're going to actually get the loan at 4%. It's the rate of the market at the time that you take that loan.
Correct. So it could be a better rate, like you said, depending on the interest rates. Secondly, that 2023, as you mentioned, the 2002 bond expires. So that's why you have room to borrow additional money, because you continue to pay down debt.
Now, obviously, if this bond fails, I would be saving $76 the first 2 years and then $285 the next 2 years. That's for my house, because my property values are $5,200 a year. But is that 76? I asked myself, Dr. Miliko, is that $76 worth of the investment in my son's school and Dearborn Public Schools? Absolutely not. I will pay even double that amount if it's going to preserve Dearborn schools to be strong schools, if it's going to preserve that we're going to not dip into our general fund to do repairs and lay off teachers. It's very important that people understand that aspect. That, yeah, you may have a savings in your property tax, which is very little, but and people recognize that it's going to be very costly for the district. And if the district and goes down and the quality of education goes down, guess what? Your house value will also unfortunately go down, because it's a direct correlation. It's a direct formula. If this goes down, this goes down. So hopefully people will mark the right choice. Dr. Maleko, last thing that you want to tell the voters of Dearborn and also Dearborn Heights who are voting in Dearborn schools?
Well, we understand that it's important to get out and vote. Exercise your right. Like you said, Trustee Mozip, you've really researched this. You're well informed. And so we have all the information on the site, and we're very transparent. And bottom line is our students, things are going, we always can strive for improvement, but there's a lot of good things going on in our schools. 3 national blue ribbon schools in a row, 95% graduation rates, a 1.2% dropout rate, 86% college admission. Our partnership with Henry Ford College, this bond will pay for that expansion for our students so that they can continue to take college credits that are paid for through the state foundation allotment, through Dearborn Schools and the Henry Ford College. So bottom line is that we want to make sure that the reason for this bond is to make sure that the infrastructure isn't the reason why we hamper a high quality education for the students. And thus, you had already said, high quality education and a good school community is good for the entire community, including property values and real estate. So I encourage all the voters to go out and vote today and make an informed decision. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maleko, Superintendent of Dearborn Schools, the 3rd largest district in the state with a $311 million operating budget. Thank you so much on advocating for this. We will take another call. I believe we have another call.
Good morning.
Good
My
morning.
name's Angel Marino.
Oh, Angel Marino. Oh, please, welcome to the
Yeah.
show. Do you have a
Thank
question?
you. Well, I actually called. My girlfriend won some tickets this morning, and she was so excited. And she told me call and see if I could win some tickets. But I thank the Most High for having me call, even though it was late, to just hear the conversation that you guys just had about getting out to vote.
Yes.
My daughter, Detroit Public Schools are closed today for Teacher Development Day.
Yeah,
or
professional
and
development. Yeah.
professional development. And my daughter was just like, Mom, are you didn't vote for Donald Trump, did you? And I said, no, baby, I didn't. And she said, well, who are you voting for? And this is just a little maybe off subject, but we live in Detroit now, and they go to Detroit Public Schools, Davidson Elementary, and that's one of the blue ribbon schools in Detroit. It's a really good school, Detroit and Hamtramck. Well, it's in Detroit, situated like right near Hamtramck off Davidson. But when we were living in East Point, we were homeowners at the time, and you would think that, like what you guys were just saying about paying the higher property tax, and everything was great in East Point as far as the neighborhood, the trash pickup, the safety, the fire police.
Yeah.
But my kids suffered in their school system, and I didn't realize it until I got back to Detroit Public Schools how far behind they were in certain areas in the curriculum because of the way that the curriculum is taught in East Point School.
Yes, I mean, unfortunately, it varies. The achievement gap is huge between different districts, and money plays a huge role. There's a lot of money, and unfortunately, I applaud Detroit Public Schools right now to actually rising back like Detroit.
Yeah.
And it's because now there is no more corruption, and obviously the state is increasing funding for these schools. So hopefully with electing board members who are accountable, who are going to be watchdogs for this money, we have great principals, we have great teachers that we can even advance and pay more so they can even do even a greater job for our children. So thank you so much for calling in. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Ms. Marano.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care. We have also, and right now, elections. We go into another city, the city of Melvindale. They also have a bond, I believe, for $36 million. But Najwa Ali, assistant principal at Allendale Elementary, is going to correct me. So, good morning, Najwa.
Hi, good morning, Adel. How are you?
Good, good. So you vote in Dearborn, and you obviously work in Melvindale. Tell us a little bit about Melvindale. Why do they have a bond and what they want to do?
So Melvindale has a bond that we're requesting for $39 million. Hopefully the bond will get passed, and it's going to bring a lot of wonderful opportunities for everyone in the district. We're going to be getting a new preschool program, hopefully, to be able to service the younger students in the early years, to make sure that they're socially and emotionally ready for kindergarten classes. The bond is also going to bring us adult ESL classes to help basically, just expand the English language among all of our community members. Some of the other benefits that we are going to have are we're using the bond money to update the infrastructure of some of our buildings. And we've had the opportunity where, Baker College basically fell into our lap. So we have the opportunity of purchasing Baker College right now, which is a state-of-the-art facility. And we'll have a beautiful middle school and high school, hopefully.
Wow. So Baker College actually closed their Allen Park location, and it's a new building, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Which is going to be
very up-to-date, state-of-the-art building.
$36 million. How much from that $36 million is going to go to the purchase?
It's $39 million.
I believe
I'm sorry. $11 million of it will go. I'm not really sure how much of it will go to the purchase of Baker.
Okay,
Baker
but
College.
it will also the rest of the money will go to infrastructure and will go to a lot of expanding programs for the Melvindale and North Allen Park students.
Yes, it will go to infrastructure, updating some of our buildings because our strong school does not have air conditioning, so we'll get that. Just updating a couple
How
of
many
items
schools are in your district, Najwa?
We currently have 4 schools in the district.
Smaller district.
We have we have a K. It's a very small district. We have a K1 building. We have a 2 to 5 building, which I'm the assistant principal of. We have a middle school, and then we have the high school.
Okay.
And so our goal is to eliminate the portables that we have in the K1 building, and use that facility as hopefully our preschool facility, which will really help with building the foundation of education for our students, especially our students that are at a disadvantage in comparison to the rest of their peers.
Thank you so much, Najwa, for calling in, and I encourage every Melvindale resident to go out and vote. Obviously, people who are in Northern Allen Park as well to go and vote today, and hopefully to support your public schools. Public schools are the backbone of society, and if we leave them decay, and if we don't support them, they're gonna, unfortunately, we're gonna have a new generation that's gonna be less funded. As Dr. Maleko said, Michigan is dead last when it comes to funding public education and growth, and unfortunately, we're a 50 out of 50. And politicians, obviously in Lansing, they gotta get it together. They really need to help the public system. Some states give to public schools like $13,000 or $14,000 per student, but unfortunately, Michigan only gives around $8,500. And when the governor right now is proposing a 3% increase, some members of the legislature are saying, "Oh, that's a lot of money." No, it's not. You've been defunding education for the past 3 decades, so it is time to fund our schools. حان الوقت لكي نستثمر في مستقبل أولادنا في مدارسنا. مدارسنا هي هنا لتبقى، هي مستقبلنا، هي هذه الفلوس التي ندفعها الآن هي استثمار في مستقبل أولادنا. شكرا جزيلا نجوى علي، المديرة لمدرسة آلنديل في مدينة ملفنديل، المدينة الناشئة أيضا التي هي مجاورة لمدينة ديربورن. أحب أن أذكر إخواني وأخواتي في مدينة همترامك معكم أيضا انتخابات المجلس البلدي. أرجو الذهاب إلى الاقتراع. معنا اتصال. Do we have a call, Mike? Oh, Khalil. عفوا Khalil, I held you up. Good morning. صباح الخير.
Good morning, and thank you so much for taking my call. And great show, and I'm glad that you're explaining all these different facets. One thing very quickly, people need to know that over the years, the legislators in many states, including Michigan, they have done what's called shifting in taxation. They canceled programs that used to fund a lot of local issues, such as schools and cities and all of that, and then they shifted it back to the residents. So now, if we want to do any improvements, we have to pay for it. This is why there is a bond. The other thing I want to really, very quickly mention is that I really appreciate when people get involved and oppose, certain bonds. But I would like them to get involved from the beginning. So be more constructive.
So I disagree with you. I disagree with you, Khalil. I would love people to be involved in any time they'd like to come involved. I'm not going to say, oh, you came in late to the game. No. But I would love them to understand the concepts first and understand the process first.
They don't need to spread false information about an issue.
Absolutely.
Where they can, but it's always better to get involved from the beginning to be far more constructive and influence the process as we go, because this is the only way, unfortunately, for us to really fund these projects. And I urge people to vote because this is the only way, as you said, we're going to make a difference.
Thank you so much, Khalil. I really appreciate your calling in. Folks, unfortunately, the state of Michigan has put us in a very hard place, between a rock and a hard place. That's our job, actually, as board members. We should go out to Lansing, and I'm actually going for a leadership conference in Traverse City, which I'll be networking with a lot of school board members who are at the other side of the state. And I'll be telling them to advocate and to talk to their senators and talk to their representatives, because our representatives, Mr. Abdullah Hamoud, Ms. Sylvia Santana, they're very supportive of public education. Every time I talk to them, they say, I hear you, we're fighting for you. But unfortunately, the others are not. So that's where we need people to really, in other parts of the city, if you have a representative who's not supportive of public education, give them a call, lobby them. We need more money for public education. But as of right now, we're relying on the residents. The Dearborn School Bond will stay the same at 4.82 mils. Your taxes will stay about the same. You're not going to be paying more as some people have, unfortunately, advertised it. It is a new bond. It is a new tax, but it's going to keep it at 4.82. So thank you so much for everybody who participated. This was an amazing show. I'm sorry I cannot take any more calls. We're at the end of the show. And now Ask Your Neighbor is next on WNZK at 6:90 a.m. If you want to hear more about household items and great advice from the hosts. So thank you so much. This was Adel Mozip. If you have any more questions about the bond, I'll be available today. My phone number is 313-415-5801. Also, you can email me or message me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Thank you so much, everybody. This was an amazing show. And go vote. Don't forget, don't vote.